Good day, here are the top stories for today from the Philippine News Agency. Our starting point is China's latest aggression in the West Philippine Sea with its Coast Guard vessels' illegal and aggressive maneuvers. The incident led to a collision that damaged two Philippine Coast Guard vessels earlier today, according to the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea. The incident occurred while the Philippine vessels were en route to resupply personnel stationed on Patag and Lawak Islands. NTF-WPS spokesperson Jonathan Malaya identified the affected vessels as the BRP Bagakay and BRP Cape Engaño. He said the first incident happened at 3:24 a.m. when a BRP Cape Engaño navigating approximately 23.01 nautical miles southeast of Escoda Shoal collided with a Chinese Coast Guard vessel, resulting in a 5-inch hole in its deck. Shortly after, at 3:40 a.m., the BRP Bagakay was also involved in a collision about 21.3 nautical miles southeast of Escoda Shoal, sustaining minor structural damage after being rammed twice by another Chinese vessel. Despite these incidents, Malaya says both Philippine Coast Guard ships are continuing their mission to deliver essential supplies to personnel on Patag and Lawak Islands. The National Task Force has called for restraint and adherence to international laws, including the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, to prevent further escalation and ensure the safety of all vessels in the region. Meanwhile, the Philippine Coast Guard has asserted its right to operate within the country's exclusive economic zone. According to PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, Manila has full rights to operate within the lagoon of Escoda Shoal, and that the Philippines' operation in the area are fully in line with the international law, including the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea and the 2016 Arbitral Award. Tariela also said the deployment of PCG vessel is not intended to provoke or escalate tensions, but to protect the country's sovereign rights, particularly against illegal poaching and activities that could damage the marine environment. He also urged China to cease referencing the 2002 Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, noting that China has violated the provisions of this declaration. In related news, the Armed Forces of the Philippines is set to receive a record-high budget of 50 billion pesos for its modernization program in 2025. According to Surigao del Sur 2nd District Representative John Pimentel, the fund will be used exclusively to support the funding requirements of the military's ongoing modernization projects. This forms part of the 419.3 billion pesos for the defense sector next year and is 10 billion pesos higher than this year's allocation for the upgrading of military hardware and systems. This increase aims to bolster the nation's defense capabilities, especially amid ongoing tensions in the West Philippine Sea. Under the revised AFP Modernization Program Law of 2012, the fund will be managed by the Secretary of the Department of National Defense. The Department of Budget Management earlier released the fourth milestone payment of 6 billion pesos for the acquisition of two multi-role missile corvettes from South Korea's Hyundai Heavy Industries. These corvettes, worth 28 billion pesos, are scheduled for delivery in 2025 and 2026 and will enhance the Philippine Navy's capabilities in anti-ship, anti-submarine, and anti-warfare operations. Meanwhile, the AFP thanked the lawmakers for the allocation to fund its modernization program. AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla says that the additional funding will help the military purchase advanced technologies and improve its abilities in land, air, and sea operations. In other news, the Senate panel investigating criminal activities linked to Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGOs, has urged the Supreme Court to reject the petition of dismissed Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo, who is seeking to block the Senate from summoning her to its hearings. In a 59-page comment dated August 8 and recently uploaded in the Supreme Court website, the Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality, chaired by Senator Risa Hontiveros, invoked the Clean Hands Doctrine. It states that individuals seeking help must also behave fairly and come to court with integrity. The Senate Committee's legal counsel, which includes Alfredo Molo III, Jairus Aguilar, Bertrand Matthew Belen, and retired Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, claimed that Guo has persistently declined to attend the Senate hearing. They said that giving in to her demand would essentially be acknowledging and encouraging her defiance of legal processes. Senator Hontiveros cited Guo in contempt on July 10 after she failed to appear at the Senate hearing for the second time. In our health news, the Department of Health has confirmed a new case of MPOX in the country following heightened surveillance. This after World Health Organization declared MPOX, formerly called monkeypox, as a public health emergency of international concern. This marks the 10th laboratory-confirmed MPOX confirmed case in the country as of August 18. The patient is a 33-year-old male Filipino national with no travel history outside the Philippines but had close, intimate contact 3 weeks before symptoms onset. Symptoms began with a fever more than a week ago, followed by a distinct rash on various parts of the body, including the face, back, and groin. The diagnosis was confirmed through a real-time polymerase chain reaction test or PCR test. Health Secretary Teodoro Herbosa meanwhile assures the public that the country's health system is equipped to handle the situation and will keep the public well informed. He adds basic health measures such as washing hands regularly and avoiding close contact with those infected can help prevent the spread of the disease. In our weather news, Tropical Storm Dindo, also known as Jong Daddy, has officially exited the Philippine area of responsibility as of 11 a.m. today. According to PAG-ASA, as of 10 a.m. today, the center of Tropical Storm Dindo is approximately 670 kilometers northeast of Itbayat, Batanes. It has a maximum winds of 65 kilometers per hour near its center, with gusts reaching up to 80 kilometers per hour. Dindo is currently moving slowly in a northeastward direction. PAG-ASA says that there are no tropical cyclone wind signals in effect, and Dindo is not expected to directly affect the weather condition in the country within the forecast period. However, Dindo and the southwest monsoon will bring moderate seas over the coastal waters of extreme northern Luzon. Mariners of motor bankas and similarly sized vessels are advised to take precautionary measures while venturing out to sea and, if possible, avoid navigating in these conditions, especially if inexperienced or operating ill-equipped vessels. Dindo is expected to move over the East China Sea and Yellow Sea towards the Korean Peninsula over the next 3 days. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under Pna News. I am Brianna Fernandez, and this is the Pna Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.